So it clearly says caution, but I smashed my head off of this the other day. Hey everyone, my name is Dan. Welcome to my shop. I've been working on a few shop projects the last week. I built a shelf for my router and my sander. And the reason I built this shelf is because I needed a place to put those two tools because I use them the most when I'm doing my cutting board projects. And it just became too much of putting them in and out of their carrying cases that they came with. And I just figured, why not just leave them out? And I built the shelf high enough so I wouldn't run into it all the time. So I wanted to show you that. And also, I got a couple of shop lights from my dad. My dad was kind enough to donate a couple of old shop lights that he had. They are the big ones that have the 4 bulbs, and I put one of them up above my table saw and the other I put up in my new finishing area. So those are the 2 shop projects that I had. And the other thing I wanted to share with you was my latest cutting board I made. It's an end grain cutting board, and it's in the form of the American flag. It just doesn't have the stars because I don't have a CNC machine yet. So once I get the CNC machine, I will definitely put stars in it. I'm glad I finally finished this American flag cutting board. It was the toughest one I've had to do so far, so it was great to be able to challenge myself in doing a more complex cutting board. I usually do just standard end grain cutting boards, either in stripe patterns or a little bit more difficult patterns. And it was great to be able to try something a little bit over my skill set level. The cutting board was made of 3 sections that I had to make separately and then glue all together. I had to do about double the amount of glue ups I usually do for an end grain cutting board. So it took a little bit more time to get this one done. I had to do 2 sections for the stripes and 1 section for where the stars would be. So I had a few problems with it. I have 1/2-inch pipe clamps that I use to do cutting board glue ups, and they were just a teeny bit too small for the pipe clamps, but I made it work. After the final glue up, I used my router to soften all the edges as well as create the handles, and then I used my sander to sand all the way down to 220 grit sandpaper. I ended up using my new finishing room I created to apply a nice soaking of mineral oil, and then after that I put a nice coat of beeswax on it, and I leave that for 24 hours and then buff it off. And the last thing I do is put on the rubber feet. This cutting board was the most fun I've ever made and the most challenging at the same time, so I'd like to definitely make more of them. I also plan on doing a video on the creation process of it with also some pointers in case anybody else wants to try to replicate it. Once I have that video done, I will put a link in the description as well as probably somewhere right there somewhere. I'll link it right there. Also, I ended up using more wood in the beginning than I really needed to make the cutting board, so I made this smaller version with no stripes underneath, obviously. But I'm gonna pretty much use it as like a cheese board or something. But I had the extra, so I didn't want it to go to waste. So I ended up making this little one right here. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel and hit that like button. And once I create that video for the cutting board, the making it process, I will link that below. I want to thank you for watching my shop update video. If you enjoyed this, please check out my other videos. I'll have them playing here on my shop made TV. Have a good week and happy woodworking. Thank you.